It's no secret that TikTok diets and fads are rising, but why and how are they harming us? A new survey found that 57% of millennials and Gen Z reported feeling influenced and even adopted these nutrition trends seen on the platform. However, only about 2% are actually accurate compared to public health and nutrition guidelines. There's been crazy diets circulating and strange food fads, from baby food to eating dog food to increase protein, to people only eating food off wooden chalkboards for some kind of unknown reason. So let's first have a look at the ketogenic diet. And this is a diet that has been absolutely circulating and taking over TikTok with over 10 billion hashtags. This is a high fat and very low carb diet, which has been reported to aid in weight loss by putting your body into a state of ketosis, forcing the body to burn fat instead of carbohydrates for its energy. However, the actual truth is that the ketogenic diet started in the 1920s, and this was a new treatment to aid children with epilepsy, and there is no actual real evidence of this aiding with weight loss. This diet was never actually intended for weight loss, and research has shown that it is no better than any other actual diet for weight loss. In fact, this diet could actually be quite harmful, as you're leaving out entire food groups that are important for you, such as fruits and vegetables and grains, and instead you should look for something that is far more balanced, like the Mediterranean diet, for example. The next diet trend is the carnivore diet. This is something that has been just absolutely everywhere on all of the social media platforms that I have. I'm personally a vegetarian, so again, that's a little bit of a weird one as to why it's constantly popping up on mine too. But yeah, it is actually described as being one of the most extreme diets. So generally, anything that isn't meat or fish, or I guess eggs is sometimes allowed, anything that isn't really that or animal derived directly is not part of the carnivore diet. It is purely like literally meat and more meat. People have claimed that the effects of this has ranged from being an anti-inflammatory diet to aiding with weight loss and also increasing testosterone levels. However, when it comes to actual research and evidence supporting any of these claims, there isn't any. There is no actual evidence saying that this diet does any of those things. In fact, a plant-based diet is actually regarded as being the most anti-inflammatory. The long-term effects of such a diet could actually be incredibly detrimental. For example, this diet is of course very high in saturated fats, which is incredibly bad for your heart health. There is no real balance to this diet at all, and that amount of high protein could actually really damage your kidneys in the long term. This diet has been particularly popularized by people such as Eddie Abu, but there's so many other influencers and people who I've seen online who have been talking about this kind of non-stop, but he is probably one of the main people that I can think of who have been completely raving about this diet. He's said to eat about 10 to 16 eggs a day, which just seems like completely crazy. But yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit mixed on Eddie Abu. I think his heart is kind of in the right place with a lot of this, and I think a lot of what he does say is good, and I mean that in terms of not eating so much processed food, not eating things that are full of sugars, going back to more natural forms of food and, you know, from the ground, kind of fresh food. I agree with all of that. However, the push of the carnivore diet, I mean, looking at the evidence alone, it does seem to be a detrimental diet to your health, specifically in the long term. So though you may be feeling some benefits of it at the moment, it's not going to be good for you in the actual long run. And the last kind of honourable mention is raw milk. I don't see what's wrong with pasteurization. This is something that I think the last year I've just seen an explosion of, particularly on X. For some reason, everyone on there is raving and talking about drinking raw milk and how amazing it is. Looking again at the evidence, it's like there's a reason why it's generally not sold to people to consume. If you see it, like if you ever see anyone post a picture of like raw milk or raw milk products online, there's always usually a label that says not fit for human consumption. It's like, obviously the reason why we pasteurize it is to get rid of horrible bacteria and things that can lead to awful diseases. You know, there's E. coli, listeria, salmonella, like there's all sorts of issues. Even if you're lucky enough to evade those, it could really upset your stomach with having bad stomach cramps, vomiting, nausea, all sorts of things that you just probably really do not want. This seems to be something that has just exploded in America particularly. I've not seen too many people from the UK talking about this, and the CDC actually warns against it as well, but hey, it's trendy. Social media's influence has been so big on all of these diets, fads and trends. If there wasn't social media, there wouldn't be the place for these influencer testimonials, before and after photos, and sensational claims for there to be this absolute breeding ground for these fads and diets. It also allows for certain words to be completely thrown around and overused, and for misinformation to be spread. For example, you know, this is how our ancestors ate, raw milk was drank up until only recently, things like that, that just like, it takes out the actual information, it takes out the context, and it's very kind of sensationalized. Anecdotes go viral faster than actual science. We as humans, we are social creatures. We are, you know, community based. We want to listen to other people's opinions because it helps us feel safe, it helps us feel part of the community, and also we kind of, you know, we want to be involved. It's another one of those keeping up with the Joneses type of things. We want to be, you know, knowing about certain trends, we want to be kind of understanding the world and be on it in a way. But what we don't see, and what is actually really hard to find out and understand, is that this information largely is either completely inaccurate or cherry-picked. And with the use of TikTok, this just kind of creates this virality and allows this misinformation to completely spread, therefore making it incredibly hard to actually see the real truth. But why is this happening? Why are people being so drawn to some of these incredibly extreme diets and fads that are actually quite harmful to us? Well, this is usually a combination of kind of what we just talked about in regards to social media, but also a desire for quick results and a mistrust in the food industry. All of these factors create the perfect combination to allow people to go towards and take an interest in extreme diets. Because of this, it's actually incredibly hard to not fall into one of these fad diets, or at least to be exposed to it. We need to realise that quick fixes, they just don't exist. Our envy and our greed gets the better of us a lot of the time, and we need to understand that a quick fix, it just doesn't work, and it's not healthy for our bodies to put ourselves in such extreme diets and extreme ways of living. We need to do thorough research and checks on the diets that we're seeing and the ways of eating that we're seeing, and who is actually promoting it to us. If we're becoming overwhelmed and unsure about what is actually correct and right for us, then a key thing would be to take a step away from the people who are expressing these things to us. So that's influencers, social media, people who are telling you that this is the thing that you have to do, you must do. Take a step away and do your own research for yourself and for your body. The key thing here is to not take everything at face value, to always do your own research and to put your health at the forefront. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!